First and foremost, I'd like to begin by giving you, my subscribers, a brief but important apology. About 4 weeks ago I made a video detailing the future of my channel, and in this video I mentioned that I would be producing even more content. However, instead of pursuing that plan, I took an unexpected break from YouTube as a result of coming into college life. I needed time to adjust to my new surroundings, and I really hope you guys understand. I'm happy to announce that the break is over. I'm currently grinding out more videos as we speak, and the one upload a week schedule is back in place. On a final note, I would once again like to thank you, my subscribers, for your time, patience, and support on this channel. It really means a lot to me. With that being said, I see a lot of people in the Halo community praise the so-called DLC that 343 released post-launch. Some people talk about the Halo 5 DLC as if it's the second coming, the kindest and most generous thing 343 could have ever done, or of any developer for that matter. And it's okay if you fall into this category of the community. I respect various opinions that differ from mine, and I'm willing to have an open mind towards positive discussion. But my question is why? Why is the Halo community so gullible in believing in the idea that Halo 5 DLC is so extraordinary? Well, I'm here to tell you that Halo 5 really doesn't have any DLC at all. I bet if someone were to tell you that Halo 5 didn't have any DLC right now, you'd probably call them crazy. Better yet, you'd probably laugh, downplay their argument, drop a dislike on the video, and simply be on your way. So allow me to get started as to why I feel as though Halo 5 has no DLC and how you and the community are once again being deceived by 343's disastrous business model. I'd like to begin by talking about just exactly what DLC actually is. I'd say it's a given that most of us already know that the acronym DLC stands for downloadable content. We've become fond of this process before, right? You boot up your Xbox, go to the marketplace, spend currency on the Halo 3 Legendary map pack, and it begins downloading. Then once it's downloaded, you can enjoy the additional quality content that you initially paid for. But with Halo 5, this process is different, and it's this difference that pushes me to believe in the idea that Halo 5 has no DLC at all. Rather than optionally performing a download at your own will, Halo 5 forces you to update the game, otherwise preventing you from playing the multiplayer component entirely. How is that downloadable content? If something is downloadable, that means that it's optional. For instance, I have the option to purchase the downloadable zombie maps for Black Ops 3 without getting locked out of the multiplayer component. I have the option to purchase Battlefield 4's China Rising DLC, but I don't need it. I can still play multiplayer with or without that additional content. With Halo 5, there is no option, so I'd like to propose the idea that instead of DLC, Halo 5 just instead has updates. The idea that it's not fair to call Halo 5's additional content DLC because in reality they are merely updates or patches that are making up the whole of the existing game. Now some of you may think that even if what I'm saying is to be true, that these updates are still okay. In fact, you might even believe that this system is even better than DLC. And I myself even recognize the benefits that this update system has to offer to Halo 5. First of all, the updates are free, and that's a big deal to many people. Everyone loves free content, so it comes to no surprise why people are foolishly impressed by 343's post-launch support. Second of all, since everyone is required to receive an update, there is no split in the community. Everyone has updates, so no one in the community actually becomes divided by who has the content and who doesn't. Sounds great. Again, all these sound awesome at face value, but I think it's because of these two benefits that the community has become so oblivious as to what is really going on with this update model. 343 are using these benefits as a screen to visually impair you towards a positive perception about these free and non-dividing updates. But in reality, these updates contain half-assed pieces of content meant to trick you into thinking that they are actually filling the game with free quality content. Let's ask ourselves this important question. Does the content provided in these updates really warrant a specified purchase? Can 343 really charge the Halo community for these updates? No, I don't think so, because all 343 are doing is spewing out cut content that was already made available in previous Halo games. By now I'm sure many of you have realized that 343 only released content that should have been included with Halo 5 since day one. And this is another reason for my stance on why I believe in the idea that Halo 5 has no DLC. Not only does this so-called DLC defy the definition of DLC like I previously discussed, but it also patches holes or content in Halo 5 that should have been filled in the first place. We need to recognize that there is a sheer difference between adding something into a game and fixing something into a game, because 343 really aren't adding anything new to their game through these monthly updates. Instead, they're only fixing and replicating features previously met by other Halo titles. Let's imagine two construction companies. We have the first one, Construction Company A, who is currently adding enhancements to their roads such as lights, traffic signals, and paved sidewalks. Valuable assets that didn't even exist before. On the other hand, we have Construction Company 343. Instead of adding enhancements to their road, 343 are just fixing potholes, filling up holes for an unfinished project that should have been filled in the first place. See, this is how I look at Halo 5's so-called DLC. Instead of splashing their game with enhancements and valuable content like Construction Company A, 343 are just fixing up their unfinished product, but at the same time fooling you into thinking that they are actually adding something unique to their product. And just to give you an idea of how many features come from prior Halo games, let's look at a couple of updates that 343 have created for Halo 5, beginning with Battle of Shadow and Light, the update that brought the community Big Team Battle, a game that has been in Halo since the very beginning. Cartographer's Gift, the update that brought back Forge Mode, which although improved, should have once again been there from the start. Then Hammerstorm, the update that reintroduces game types like Griffball, Assault, Fiesta, game type variants that should have been there from the get-go. Next, we received the Memories of Reach pack, finally adding Infection to Halo 5, a game mode that has been relevant in Halo since Halo 3. Then the more recent Warzone Firefight pack launched, again giving us Firefight, a game mode that has been relevant since Halo ODST. Finally, we received the latest update that adds a file browser, a feature already present since Halo 3. How can you sit there and tell me that this cut content that was supposed to be there from the get-go is called DLC? Regurgitated content that was already available in past Halo entries, in my opinion, is not DLC and does not deserve the label of DLC. Better yet, you know what this should be called? Incompetence, laziness, and a disrespect for a beloved gaming franchise. Yet people are still being fooled by the abundance of free content every month, and that's the idea. 343 wants you to fall for this false act of generosity and satisfaction, because in my opinion, the only reason 343 actually used this model is to push the use of the rec system while also creating content that requires little to no effort. And I think it's blatantly obvious that this is the mission 343 have set out for themselves with these updates. I like to once again call to the attention the updates that I previously just mentioned. What is one feature that every single one of these updates have in common? Additions to the rec system. Every single update for Halo 5 adds more content to the rec system, pulling me towards the idea that these updates are more rec pack driven rather than content driven, which again solidifies my argument as to why we shouldn't refer to these updates as DLC. DLC tends to focus on aspects that are more content driven, rather than hiding the content behind an RNG system. By now we know that games that truly offer DLC actually give you the items and additional content that you initially pay for. For instance, when I buy a pair of socks at a store, those socks don't go into a slot machine that then require credits just so I can retrieve them. Yet that's what Halo 5 does. When you update your game, rather than receiving the new recs, you instead have to work or pay for them with either points or real currency. Instead of just outright giving you the content from the update, they instead hold it behind the RNG system in an attempt to give you the incentive to play more or spend your money. I'd also suggest that Halo 5 only receives new and unique content in the form of rec packs, weapon, armor, cosmetics, and all the other bullshit. And here, when I refer to the term unique, I'm talking about the content that is not cut content. Recs are the source of where the new content in Halo 5 comes from, because the other bulk content introduced outside of Recs only contains cut content. Imagine the Warzone Firefight update. The bulk of the update touting Firefight is not a new experience, but rather the Recs that come with it, like the Temple Banshee or the Wasp, offer a new experience. It's like each update in Halo 5 has the main bulk features that revolve around cut content, with the only new content introduced in the updates being rec items. And I don't consider the maps that these updates offer as new content, because most of them are just remix maps or forge maps, an easy way to deceive the consumer base into thinking that they are actually getting more content, when in reality, they aren't. Likewise, what I'm really trying to reveal to you is that rather than adding new and quality content, these updates add generic pre-existing content, with new content only existing in the form of recs. And personally, I don't believe that a DLC system should be all about supporting an RNG system. All they're trying to do is trick the consumer base into believing that they are receiving premium content. I think DLC should have a specified focus on adding unique and premium content to the game that renews experiences. The fact that 343 are fooling the community into thinking that they are getting great content is crazy. How can you possibly say that Halo 5 has great DLC when in reality the only new things within the content are the rec items and everything that involves the rec system? It really comes down to this. Halo 5 has no DLC. To those of you who are being tricked and deceived, I hope you now know the truth as to what is really going on with 343's post-launch support. Not only does the so-called DLC act in the form of updates, but they also act as updates in the sense of the content being given. Adding cut content to an unfinished product should not be recognized as DLC, and neither should a system that focuses more on an RNG system. Personally, I think it's important that we expose the truth behind some of these post-launch support issues, because discussion can help prevent problems in Halo's potential future. In regards to the future, I think we need a DLC system that actually delivers premium content to the community, rather than receiving low-quality cut content meant to promote the rec system even further. As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, comment your thoughts, concerns on the video, and subscribe to Weapons Grade for more content about the future of Halo and gaming in general. Peace.
Like this, like that, like this, like this, like that, like this, like that, like that, like this, like that, like that.
I like it, I like it. I don't